guys, welcome back to another episode. Today I'm going to show you a really summery recipe. It's a Herby veggie sausage plat. It's delicious, it's summery, and you're going to love it. The ingredients you're going to need today: for the pastry you need 250 grams of plain flour, 125 millilitres of cold water, 150 grams of butter cut into cubes, and it needs to be cold. So once you've cut it in the cubes, keep it in the fridge. 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. For the filling, you need 40 grams of herbs. Today I'm using parsley, basil and mint. You need 100 grams of nuts. I'm using cashew nuts and walnuts. You also need a few extra for the salad. You need 1 egg, 2 shallots, a pinch of paprika, a pinch of chili flakes and 40 grams of breadcrumbs. For the salad, you need 1 tablespoon of horseradish, a little bit of olive oil, half an apple and 20 grams of watercress. The filling, we're using butternut squash today, and we're going to roast it really slowly in the oven. So the first thing you need to do is remove the seeds, peel the skin and cut it into some cubes. So these are going to go in the oven at 180 degrees for 45 minutes. So nice low temperature. When they come out, they should be nice and soft, ready for the filling. Just put some salt and pepper and some olive oil. Next, I'm going to make the pastry. So get your flour, water and lemon juice, and we're going to combine all of them together. So first of all, pour the water in and mix that together. And then your 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. When it started to come together like this, most of it's in big clumps, we're going to knead it for 5 minutes on the surface. So empty it out on the surface, and we want to compact it together. So we're not really kneading like a normal bread, we're just compacting. We don't want it to overwork. If that happens, it can become quite dry and crumbly. Okay, you can see that it's come together nicely into one large ball. At this point, I'm going to rest it for 10 minutes. That's just going to allow me to roll it nice and thinly without it bouncing back. Now the pastry is rested for 10 minutes, what we want to do is unwrap the cling film and roll it out into a rectangle. It's quite important to get the corners really straight. That way when you fold it over, you've got some really uniform sheets. So now we've got our rectangle piece of dough. What we need to do is put butter about 2/3 up the way of the pastry, leaving a nice thin gap at the top. I'm going to take the top sheet that doesn't have any butter on and fold it inwards. Press it down just to melt the butter slightly, and then the bottom sheet goes over the top. Turn it on its side, and we want to gently flatten it with a rolling pin. And roll it thinner. You'll feel the butter starting to spread out nice and evenly. Try and make sure that it doesn't come out the sides, just by folding the pastry inwards a little bit. Because it's quite warm today, it is 25 degrees outside, I'm going to keep it in the fridge for about 5 minutes, just so that butter firms up slightly. So while my pastry is chilling in the fridge, we're going to prep some ingredients for the filling. So we need to chop the shallots, chop the nuts so they're nice and small pieces, keep some walnuts back for the salad, and then chop our herbs as well. We're going to get on with the filling. Just remove the butternut squash from the oven, it's nice and soft, and I've just let it cool slightly. We've got all of our ingredients chopped, and now we're going to mix them all together. So in a bowl, put all your butternut squash, and then with a fork you just want to squish it so most of the chunks come out. Okay, when most of the chunks are out, it looks like this, nice and mashed together. We're going to add our herbs, all of our nuts as well, and the shallots. Okay, we've got a pinch of salt, our chili flakes and paprika, so all of those go into the mix. Our breadcrumbs as well, grind of pepper, and 1 egg. Mix that all together. The egg should combine it and give it a little bit of moisture. So next I want to form it into a sausage. The best way of doing that is wrapping it in cling film and then putting it back in the fridge. So it allows it to hold its shape and it allows it to stay together in the reef. So get some cling film. Now take the mixture and put it in one space in the middle of the cling film. Just make sure it's in one straight line all the way down. Make sure you leave 2 fingers width either side so we can tie it up nice and tight. Take the cling film, the bottom layer, and squeeze it. Don't drape it over the top, you want it to go the other side. And then use your hands to squeeze it together. Sure it's nice and tight. So this is going to go in the fridge, it's going to firm up, and we're going to take it out in about 10-15 minutes and we'll start rolling the pastry out. So my pastry's been chilling for about 15 minutes in the fridge. The butter's nice and hard, so when I roll it, it's not going to leak out, and that's going to allow me to have nice layers of pastry and butter. So take your cling film off. If it feels a little bit sticky, we can dust a bit of flour onto it. And we want to roll it out so it's a nice large rectangle. Still focus on those sides, make sure it's nice and straight all the way round. And the way you want to roll it is pushing down all the way with your rolling pin. This ensures that you get a nice even layer of pastry. You can even flip it over again. Make sure those sides are nice and straight. And then keep going. There will be a little bit of butter that leaks out, but it's not too much of a problem if that happens. So now that you've got a nice uniform sheet of your pastry, we're going to fill it with the filling. Take it out the fridge and just make sure that it fits nicely. You also want about a 1-inch gap at either end so that you can fold it over. Make sure it's still compact. And now the first thing you want to do is lift up this side of the pastry and drape it over the filling. Squeeze it so it's nice and compact, and then roll it again so it's completely encased. There's a little bit left over, but I can use that to decorate, so I'm going to trim that off slightly. And then you just want to tuck the ends in, just push your thumb down, and then I'm going to cut off the ends just here. Just make sure it's sealed, so push your thumbs down into the pastry. We don't want it oozing out when it bakes. And then this side here, there's a little pleat. We want to put a bit of egg wash so it sticks down. Just put a little bit there to make sure it seals nicely. Okay, the next step is to bend it round on itself so it looks like a reef. Make sure there's flour underneath, we don't want it sticking. We can work it out so it goes a little bit thinner. Make sure the gaps are meeting. So now you've got your ring, we want to delicately transfer it over to the baking tray, like this. And then get a sharp knife. We want to go halfway into the pastry, not all the way through, and it needs to be about 2 inches. Okay, now you've got your even pieces. We want to take a piece, be nice and delicate, pick it up, and then twist it round so it's flat like that. Last thing we need to do is put some egg wash on it. That's going to allow it to be nice and shiny, have this glistening coat on the top. So this is going to go in the oven at 200 degrees fan for about 25 to 30 minutes. Just taken the reef out the oven and it's looking lovely and golden, nice and crunchy. If I give it a tap, you can hear it crunch. So the last thing we need to do is dress the salad and put it in the middle. We've got the watercress here and my dressing. I'm going to tip that over the top. We've got the crunchy apple as well, which I'm going to put inside. And then I'll dust the walnuts on top. So get a handful of the salad, place it in the middle of the wreath. Last but not least, our walnuts. We just want to scatter on top. And there we have it. We've got our butternut squash sausage wreath with walnut, apple and horseradish salad. I'm gonna go sit in the sun, enjoy this, and I hope you enjoy too.